Hey, welcome to Mikey's Video Game Madness. Today we're playing Shellshock NAM 67. If you don't remember, or you can look back at my catalog, I actually did a video of Shellshock 2. And I don't even remember if that had a different, like a little subtitle to its name or whatever. It's the one with zombies. It was kind of a flawed game, but it had a lot of promise. I played all the way through it, but it definitely needed some work. It felt unfinished, but it was a cool idea. It went into the science fiction realm, where this one takes itself more seriously. This is actually made by Guerrilla Games. This was actually in development for a long time. I haven't played this since it actually came out in the early thousands, so I can't tell you much about it. So even though I've played this, it's like me playing it for the first time. This was actually somewhat of a big deal. There weren't a lot of console Vietnam games, and this was supposed to be a super realistic take on the war, where most games were kind of silly that came out at the time that were action games, and this one took itself more seriously. But I don't know, I just think the graphics weren't quite there at the time. I gotta select OK. I'm using an old PS2 controller. It definitely feels like it's had its day. I don't know how much longer it'll last. When I first plugged it in, it didn't even pick up the controller, so that's weird. I'm playing this on a PlayStation Slim, which didn't read discs for a while. I found out that the thing that recognizes whether the door's closed or not actually wears out after a while, so I had to open up the PlayStation and fix it. So I'm happy to report I have a 100% functioning with no flaws PlayStation 2. I actually have two of them now, which is nice. The other one has some issue with the drawer. I have a fat one and a slim one. I actually prefer the slim one. It's a little bit more quiet, and I like the fact that the door is mechanical and just opens up. So I haven't played this in a long time. If I remember correctly, this game is quite hard. So we're gonna play it on easy because I have a feeling the controls are gonna be off. I thought that was actually real footage at first. So this is made by the people who made Killzone and Horizon Zero Dawn, which you wouldn't think. Like, somebody was like, who developed this game? That would be the last people I would guess. This is actually a multi-platform game as well. I know for a fact it was also on the original Xbox. I don't know if it had a PC release, but I wouldn't be surprised. The graphics are fairly comparable. You're probably not going to be able to tell much because I'm recording this with not straight up AV but S-video cables. I've been having issues trying to record with my newer equipment with the PlayStation 2, so I've had to go back to the older recording device that doesn't always accept component signals from a PS2 because the PS2 tends to broadcast at strange resolutions. I also have somewhat of a problem with that with PlayStation 3. PlayStation 4 though works like a dime, as well as the Xbox 360. Don't have an Xbox One, I can't tell you how that goes, but I would imagine the original Xbox probably records fairly well too, but I don't know, the original PlayStation 2 and the PS3, they're always, I guess the system doesn't automatically upscale properly compared to the 360 or the PlayStation 4, so you get a lot of weird resolutions that the computer doesn't recognize and you have trouble. So not the best looking game in the world, but you can definitely tell what it's going for. The controls feel alright, which I need to figure out what they are. That took a while to get to the loading screen. Preferences. I remember being really excited about this game. My personal opinion, the best Vietnam game are basically the levels on Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and a game called Men of Valor. The only problem with that game, and that's also available on the PC and the Xbox. Unfortunately, PS2 didn't get a port and couldn't handle it. That's actually made by the guys who worked on Medal of Honor Allied Assault. But anyway, that's the best Vietnam game. The only problem with that game is sometimes it's hard and or difficult, and it has a unforgiving checkpoint system. So we're gonna look at controls. So yeah, this is an early first-person shooter where they kind of overdid it. It's almost like they had a PC in mind. So like reload circle, it's just not second nature if you're playing contemporary games, unfortunately. At least fire is usually where it is on the PlayStation 3 at least. Man, that's a lot to remember. I'm probably going to be doing awful. I'm glad I stuck this to easy. This also has a grain filter on it, which is kind of cool. At the time, Killzone, even though even the remastered version looks pretty awful, it was pretty impressive for back in the day. Reload is circle. This doesn't seem to reload. So the right stick in zooms in. For a lot of these third-person, first-person games that I've played on the PlayStation 2, the aiming actually feels somewhat decent. I'm also playing on an old-ass controller. I always feel like you have to push everything like harder on this controller. I'm wondering if I don't want to get a third-party controller, but I'm wondering if I could get a sealed PlayStation 2 controller. It makes me worried about the future. Because if my shit's already starting to feel like it's failing on me, I can only imagine what the future is going to be like. Alright, so I forgot how to go prone, so I died relatively immediately. This is on easy. I'm so used to being casual and being like, oh, it'll just recharge. It doesn't work that way. One thing about the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3 are the buttons are pressure sensitive. And I feel like the PlayStation 2's the pressure sensitive buttons seem to give after a while, because I feel like you have to push the buttons harder than you normally would. What the fuck is prone? I can't remember. I looked at all these controls and I can't remember what the hell, what does what. Well, that's fire. We got that. Well, thank goodness for auto aim. Took forever, like when the gun had the kickback, it took a while for it to go back down. Man, how did I play this game back in the day? Maybe their idea of difficulty was just mature themes, and I mean idea of realism was some mature themes and being very, very difficult. You know, one thing, you seem to run out of ammo fairly quickly. Oh, 2 bullets. Oh. Actually want that. Try to see if there's any weapons around here. I swear I pushed L2. Maybe I didn't push the button hard enough. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I pushed it. I'm guessing this game's a lot easier once you know what button does what. Wow. I pretty much missed them. And I used up all my ammo. Holy shit. Oops, I almost shot my guy. Well, checkpoint reached. That's a relief. How do I get out of that? Alright. So, I'm gonna try to aim from the hip. I seem to have better luck than trying to aim on my own. I mean, doing the zoom in, aim, whatever you call that. I wouldn't call it iron sights mode. This isn't the era of Call of Duty. But maybe, I don't know. That didn't seem to work either, and I'm almost out of bullets. So I'm pretty much fucked. So this is definitely a game I feel like you want to take your time playing if this is something that tickles your fancy. I got this game fairly cheap. It was around $6. I got it like in mint condition. I mean, it wasn't brand new, but it might as well have been. Got it from Second and Charles, which is actually owned by Books A Million, which is weird. But yeah, it's a used and new bookstore that also sells movies and video games. I can't really compare it to anything else except like a pawn shop, but it's like a chain, but there's only a few of them. They actually have a free bin outside that's been kind of notorious for sometimes putting out video games, although I heard they quit doing it once they found out how much they were worth. I don't want to jinx it, but since I'm making a video I have to say something, and all I was going to say is I can't believe how long I've stayed alive so far. I do have to say, once you get the hang of the controls a little bit, it does feel a lot better. When I first started this, I was like, oh no. But I remember really liking this game and wanting to play it again. I didn't see it for a long time, which is weird because it's fairly cheap, so it must be somewhat common. This came out fairly late, I believe, in the PlayStation's life cycle, because I remember around the time I was playing this, I was also reading about the launch of the PlayStation 2. Not the PlayStation 2, excuse me, the PlayStation 3, where I'm playing the PlayStation 2. See what happens when I'm trying to play video games. You can tell, I'm sure you guys can tell, like, what videos are done, like, on the spot, and which videos actually have the footage recorded previous, and then I do the commentary over it. But I wanted to make you guys a video, so push X to play C4. I'm guessing that's what that poorly drawn block is. It's, I guess for what it is, it's not a bad looking game, and even though like it looks like there's a lot of fog, the draw distance isn't terrible. They still draw the enemies from far away, which is nice. Seems like it does better if you strafe than actually try to aim the gun yourself. This was supposed to be like an ultra realistic, ultra girl, like ultra. I was thinking of two things. I was gonna say ultra girly because I was about to say like there's like playing cards you can get with I believe they have like naked girls on them or something. My thought, that's what makes these videos so hard. I'm like sometimes thinking of like two things when I'm trying to say one thing. But this is supposed to be ultra realistic and gritty, nothing like it, yada yada yada. I'm surprised the way this game looks though. I'm not like trying to knock on the graphics, but considering Guerrilla was, at least I saw screenshots of the first Killzone. I'm surprised like this doesn't have a more AAA look to it, but maybe because it's multi-platform, maybe they couldn't really focus on one console, so they kind of made a graphics engine that was middle ground. Because this doesn't look anything like an engine that Killzone would have used. Don't tell me I'm out of ammo, otherwise I'm fucked. Alright. I gotta remember. Shit. I'm glad you're stupid. You know what? I'm kind of starting to really enjoy this game. I remember why I liked it so much, but based on my foggy memory of playing this game, because I played a shitload of PlayStation 2 games back in the day. Although I think I might have played this one on the Xbox. I had an Xbox, I believe, when this game came out. Because I was working at a grocery store. Yeah, because I bought my Xbox right when I graduated high school. I'm sounding like a pirate, that summer. So, yeah, if there was a multi-platform game, I would play it on the Xbox. Because typically the Xbox port would always be superior. So, do I have to actually activate this somehow? It's like this game wanted to be a PC game, so they like add all these unnecessary buttons that you really don't need. Like, I mean, I can lean on my own. But you know, this was a time where they didn't really have a lot of shooting games on consoles, so they were trying to figure it out. I don't know if this came out before or after Halo. I'm sure Halo must have been out if the Xbox was out. This game kept on constantly getting delayed. I do remember that. So it looks like I'm gonna die soon. I wish I could remember what does what. Let's run. Do some of these buttons like only work at certain times? I almost feel like it does. Look at all these goodies we have, and yeah, I don't see a first aid kit. So we'll go into this tunnel of doom, hope for the best. I'm going to see if there's a command prompt for the first aid, because I think that thing on my top left corner is my health. Look at me, all prepared when I record these videos. Alright. Preferences. What are the video options? Widescreen. So I knew what I had already. That's nice. Usually on a PlayStation game, you have to select it ahead of time. It doesn't do it automatically. Sorry. I live in the city. You'll hear noisy shit all the time. Controls. Is there anything for health? No. Alright, so I'm pretty much dead. That's fine. Whatever. So we'll climb up this ladder. I wonder if this is one of those games where you actually have to select use. I feel like I need to look around here, though. There's a hand. That means I should pick it up. I don't know what I just picked up. It was a block of some sort. Maybe that was C4, just in case I didn't have any. Place C4. Yeah, put it there. This running is a little bit clunky, but that's alright. So I'm guessing now the wise thing to do is to climb this ladder. And yes, we do have to push X in order to climb the ladder. You might have had to do that in the other game. I did like the other game, the sequel with the zombies. was a cool idea. I wish they would have worked on it more, but you know, I guess they ran out of money. That's what it seems like anyway. Some things seem polished and other things just seem like they're like, what can we sell for $19.99 and still call it a game? But I played it to the end, so that's a pretty big compliment, at least coming from me. And I think it, no, I don't want that. But I don't want to hold on to it either. What's inventory? Shit. Fucking hide, you jackass. I hope I shot him. I really can't. Even though the draw distance is decent and I can tell the enemy's there, I really don't know all the time if I'm making contact. I miss that little X in the Call of Duty games. I've been spoiled. But I guess this is supposed to be realistic and gritty. You don't have the luxury of an X. That was risky. But it did give me more ammunition, which is what I was really worried about there. You will not survive this game playing like I'm playing now, but, you know, live and let learn. You know, for a PlayStation 2 shooting game, which typically weren't done well unless they were super linear, which this is kind of, but, I mean, after playing Medal of Honor Rising Sun, which did have technically better better graphics, but I don't know, I like the way this looks with the foliage and stuff like that. I think it looks a little bit better. I think Medal of Honor Rising Sun looked like a really linear roller coaster ride. I like this game's style. It's stylized, but I can tell what everything is, and I do feel like there's some strategic freedom, even if it may or may not be there. And it's nice to see the Vietnam War represented. I hope in future games they cover it more. I mean, it might not be the most aesthetically interesting war to cover as far as the game goes, but I think there's a lot of strategy to be had with all the foliage and the jungle environments and stuff like that. And you know, it's not quite World War II, but you get like the older weapons. You know, you don't have to look at something like a futuristic game and wonder what the hell it is. Which I do like the futuristic Call of Duties, but you know, unless I get familiar with the guns, I don't even know what the hell I'm shooting. I like knowing that what I have is like an M16 or a World War II game where it's like an M1 Grand. I like that. I'm not a gun person, so for me to know what it is comforting, because a lot, even in the Modern Warfare games, I don't know, but I knew that by the shape of that I was grabbing a AK-47, so you know, it helps out. At least I like the idea. I think it does help out strategically. Listen to me, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. Am I supposed to throw a grenade there? I'm not even sure how I threw the last grenade. Select inventory. Throw this. Hopefully this doesn't have physics and but doesn't bounce. That's not what I needed to do. Here I am talking about the game not being linear, and it looks like I'm on some sort of path. Alright. Get that C4 out. I can't wait to see what they do with Call of Duty, because they're talking about possibly having a World War II game with today's technology. It'll be awesome, but at the same time, I really want EA to like make a. I really want them to bring out like a World War II Medal of Honor game, or maybe even past that. Maybe they like create more of Vietnam with the Frostbite engine. The Frostbite engine, it's so cool, and all they're using it for, where it functions the best, are like multiplayer games. Which, man, if you like just have like a sandbox environment, like with mission objectives and stuff like that, with the environmental detail, that'd be so cool. I haven't seen that in a World War II game, and you got hints of it in the first level of Bad Company 2, but I would just love to see them come out with like a reboot of the Medal of Honor franchise, and see the older characters like Jimmy Patterson, like Manon during the French Resistance, and actually have like a huge level with sandbox environments. They were so, I think, on the right track with Medal of Honor Airborne, and they just went to the Modern Warfare era, which I thought the first game was good. I had mixed feelings about the second game, but I mean, they patched it up and fixed it. But by the time they did all that, I had already finished the game. But I bought it again. I might play it again. I think I finished it like 2 times. But that's essentially what killed it. But I think also they didn't really have anything to stand out against Call of Duty, because Call of Duty was doing the Modern Warfare thing too. I think the first Medal of Honor reboot was done really well, but I would just like to see them go back to World War II. And that would, well, now that Call of Duty's coming out, potentially coming out with World War II, but from everything I read, it's like almost like an absolute, which I'm fine. I just want a World War II game, but I would just love to see the Frostbite engine like be utilized in an older war game. That's single player, excuse me, because somebody's going to be like, what's Battlefield 1? Or even Battlefield 1943. It's not the same thing. It's like multiplayer centric. I just want that long single player Medal of Honor experience I used to have. And I think the Frostbite engine would work beautifully with the sandbox type level design that Medal of Honor Airborne had. That is such a overlooked game. It's not even funny, and part of that is like it's a bit glitchy. I think I've had it freeze on me a few times on both the Xbox 360 and the PS3. On the PC version probably works great though. I actually have the PC version. I haven't played it to completion. The only one I've ever finished was the, what do I have to do here? Blow it up or what? Or just meet this person here. You just gotta talk. TikTok, or is that the person's name? I just push select. There's a lot of mission objectives. It's crazy how I don't remember all this. All I remember is that you went on missions and there was a hub. I'm guessing I'm supposed to blow this up, but when I push X, it's not bringing up the C4, so maybe there's another way to do it. Maybe I'm just supposed to shoot it. But I don't want to waste my ammo because I only have like a handful of bullets. Yeah, if they could come out with Medal of Honor Airborne type gameplay with a Frostbite engine with multiple characters from the original series, I would be pleased as punched though. I can't wait to see what Call of Duty does with the World War II engine. But Call of Duty never really had destructible environments, and that's just something that's really cool. But I really do like Call of Duty as well. I'm almost sad to see the spaceship futuristic Call of Duty go. I hope they continue with that when it goes to a different developer during the 3-year cycles, because I think they're on something with that, because that's also a genre that you don't really see a lot. And the fact that you can get off of your ship and shoot and then get back on the ship and fly it around and stuff like that, that's so cool. I haven't seen that mechanic since this old PlayStation 2 and Xbox game called, I think it was Mace Griffin Bounty Hunter. I think Henry Rollins actually did the voice of it. And you would fly your own ship, and it was like a flight sim. And then you would land and shoot all this stuff up and then get on your spaceship. It was a little bit clunky, as most games were at that time. But man, what a great concept. And I think Call of Duty was Infinite Warfare, I believe it was called. I think they were on point with that. I think they were on to something. I really like that. But since it's Call of Duty, I think a lot of people just boycotted it, or they just played the remaster of Modern Warfare, which was good in its own right. But I was actually surprised. I wasn't going to get the game, and I just was like, fuck it, I'll give it a shot. I guess you can use C4 on that one. Now I gotta switch back to my other weapons before I accidentally deploy another grenade, which I may or may not need. Alright, now we're gonna go here. So I guess the levels are kind of linear, so I'm eating my words, but it feels like there's at least one alternative path you can go to try to flank the enemies. It's not like walking into a straight line, which Call of Duty is somewhat infamous for, but I think with their level design, they seem to be getting better. They're so anorexic. I feel like I'm shooting Slender Man. Alright. I'm glad your squad mates are like somewhat confident here. That's nice. I guess this is supposed to be the gritty realism part, but no matter what you did back during this day, you'd really have to use your imagination, or it looked like effects from Jim Henson's Creature Workshop. Let me see how many objectives I have left. Is that the whole level? Yeah, I guess the theme at least is gritty. Like, I can't say the images are gritty, because to me they look like polygonal characters, and you could say, oh, that's just because you're not using your imagination, but trust me, I live in my imagination. I don't have a whole lot going on as far as social life goes. You have to really think about the themes and stuff like that, which weren't typically represented in video games, so it's nice / horrible that they were showing you some of the cruder things of war. But, yeah, this is an interesting game. I would definitely recommend playing it, and it plays like one of the nicer PlayStation 2 shooters. I mean, there's a few of them out there. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best one. I'd say this is kind of middle of the road, which it has my recommendation. Like, I'm curious what level 2 is going to be like, so after these levels, as long as I don't see a nudie girl, I should be going to a hub level. But yeah, like, for what this costs to use, if you come across it, I would definitely pick it up. You don't have a lot to lose. There's definitely, I didn't push that X button hard enough because of this old ass pressure control button. I'm gonna see if I can get a new PlayStation 2 controller. I think I've seen them on Amazon, and they're not really all that expensive, because this is like one of the most popular consoles of all time. So they like overmade like too many controllers. They like way more than there were consoles. They kind of Atari'd up the controllers. If that's a phrase, meaning made more than they had consoles for. Unless they assumed that every PlayStation 2 unit had a multi-tap or something. I'm really picky about controllers too. If I find like one flaw in the controller, like it bothers me. It's like one of those things, like when you see something that bothers you, like on a TV, like a speck or a scratch, you can't unsee it. That's like me with the controller. If the buttons seem a little bit squeaky or the analog sticks loose or whatever, it's all I can think about, and I gotta like try to find an alternate controller or whatever. I'm really bad about that. Like, it affects my enjoyment of the game. It's kind of pretty sad. Since you guys aren't going to be able to hear all that anyway, I don't know why I'm stuck here. So this is like the hub, and you have these little, it looks like kind of like dog tags, but they're pointy in the middle, so they kind of look like tickets. Can't really tell. You can buy goods from Deuce.
You're a new face, man. And if there's one thing I like about NAM,
I should have put subtitles on. Was that even an option? That wasn't always an option in these older games. I have to say things like that because I forget sometimes how young some of the people are that watch my videos, because I forget how old I am, which is really the real issue. We do have subtitles, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to stop now. And auto aim, yeah, so when you can use auto aim, it's a lot easier than doing the aiming through the sights, which is weird. Usually in newer games it's the opposite, where aiming at the hip is harder. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this game and checking it out. And if you see the sequel and it's not really expensive, and you're into zombies, I would actually recommend picking that up. Just expect like a B movie quality game. Like, what I mean by that is it's not high quality. You're gonna have issues, but it's all around still fun. But just don't write me an angry message if you play either of these games and you absolutely hate them, because I don't want to be responsible for you feeling like you lost your money. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry this video was probably not all that exciting. I was trying to figure out a lot of this stuff. Perhaps I should have been more prepared. Listen to me like confessing all this shit to you. That's how much I care about you guys. Even though I honestly don't know who's listening to me at this point unless you send a comment. So if you want me to know who you are, who's actually watching these videos, feel free to comment. Alright, thank you so much for watching. And for those of you who do actually watch this and leave comments, I really do appreciate it. I know I always type it out in text, but maybe it means more if you can hear it. I don't know. But thank you so much, and I will talk to you on the next video. This is Shellshock NAM 67, and it has my thumbs up based on the first level and fuzzy memories. Take care. Bye.
If you want to, like, comment, and